Hello and welcome to the Gemasign channel on YouTube. My name is David Weinstein and I'm going to be demonstrating to you how to clean the external optics of the Ratna device and how to do a calibration of the entire spectral range for the Ratna unit. In order to clean the external optics, basically all you have to do is remove one of the caps. It's just held on by a little sticky glue. Immerse your Q-tip into a little clean alcohol and just wipe it gently down onto the external lens and wipe it off with the other end of the Q-tip, and that's all there is. I find that you really only have to do it maybe once a month, depending on how dirty the ambient air is where you're living, but I find that it's really not anything I have to do very often. Maybe once a month, if that. Calibration also, if you do it once a month, it's about all you're going to have to need. You can check the calibration any day that you're working on it. Basically, you go to the UV spectra, which is about 25 to 30 atomic lines, and enlarge one of the atomic lines and you'll see where the peak is, and there's a chart that comes along with the Gemasign machine that'll tell you exactly where that peak is supposed to be located. In order to do the calibration, we use a standard microscope slide and we paste that over the port for the UV. Going into the program, I can come out of the program for a second. Okay, if you go in, I'll show this enlarged, but there is a button called Calibrate. You click on that and the spectra opens up. All you have to do is press Start Scan and it'll take a UV spectra. When it's done taking it, it'll give you a little ring. Not sure why I didn't hear the ring, but there we go. And that's it. It captured the UV spectra. Down at the bottom here, there's another button called Calibrate. Just click on that thing called Calibrate, and it'll go through the calibration process. What it's doing is there are about 25 to 30 atomic lines in the argon-mercury spectra. It's adjusting them so they come out within about 2 to 3/10 of a nanometer to where they're supposed to come out. Okay, it says calibration complete. I can check the calibration. What I'll do now is, let me see, I'll put this down and bring over the camera. Okay, so you can see what it is that I was looking at here. Okay, so this is the screen. I'll just go through it again, looking at the screen part of it. What I'll do is I'll close this screen, and this is when you log in. This is the screen that you see for what's called the Super Jeweler module. Up here in the corner, there's the word Calibrate, so all you have to do is click on that. Then over here, you click where it says Click Scan, and that'll give you the little bring once it's collected the scan. And then you come down here to Calibrate, and that shouldn't probably, if I scan it again, probably wouldn't hurt it. Okay, it's going to take the same information and do a calibration. There you go, calibration complete, and that's it. Now, I can check and see how this calibration came out. Let's say I take this peak right here, and I blow it up, so I know just exactly where the peak is. Now, the peak you can see, if I blow it up here, there we go. Okay, let's move this back. There, 364.89 is the peak, and I can tell you that peak is supposed to come out at 365.01. So you can see that's coming out about 1 to 2/10 of a nanometer off of the absolute perfect value. I can close it off and let's say take another peek here. Let's take this one at the other end of the spectrum and take that. So this is coming out at 811.3. Let me move this over. 811.3. Okay, 811.3, and that is supposed to come out 811.5. So there's 0.2 of a nanometer on that one. So there you have it. This is what the spectra looks like, the calibration spectra, and it looks at about 7 of these and calibrates on them to make sure that they're within the 0.2, at most 0.3 of a nanometer. This is the total range from here down at 300 up to 1,000. You can see there's one here you get a signal way up at this end of the spectrum. All right. Anyways, that's the calibration and cleaning of the lens. I think I can also try to do an analysis here. Let me close it back down a little bit. Okay. Here, that looks good. All right. So I'll take this part away. That's my calibration disc. And I'll put on doing two hands here, right? Let me see if I can position the camera. Maybe that'll work. Move it back a little bit. Okay, let's try that. All right, so what I'm going to do now that we have the calibration done, I'll put a little stone in here. I'll bring back out my fiber optic. I'll close out the calibration from the screen. And this is my regular sample. So if I go back in here to do an analysis, okay, I can do that. Let me say, I don't know if you can see this now. Let me see if I can do it like that. And go to the UV. Okay, it's captured it. And that's the UV spectra from this particular stone, which happens to be a ruby. Okay, so that's that one. Now let me move it over a little bit. I hope you can still see this. And put the cap back on. And let me see, can you see the other one? Now you can. Okay, good. Okay, now I'm going to just bring this over so you can still see it, what's going on. And I'll capture the broadband, or the white light. Maybe a little stronger signal here. A little too strong. That looks good. And this is what that looks like. And lastly, one more spectra to capture in the laser. I'm going to bring it down here. Put a little disc over there. Bring my ruby. Put it on here. Okay, there we go. And I'll cover that. Let me observe in the lens. You can see what's going on there. Okay, good. Alright, so here is the spectra for the laser. And again, a little saturated. I'll move the probe back just a little bit so that the signal isn't so strong. There we go. Get into the detector. And I'll take a look at it. Okay. So let me try this again. I'll just bring this over so I can show you the three spectra. Okay, that's the spectra for the laser. And see where my mouse is. There we go. Okay, that's the laser spectra. That's my UV. and this is my broadband. Okay, now I'm going to ask it to give me some results. And it'll take about a minute or so. So again, like this calibration, as I said, the calibration can be done once a month. Usually if you travel, it's probably a good idea to do it once your machine finally lands wherever you plan to be using it. I've used the machine for a number of years, and I find that even once a month is not necessary, though I usually do calibrate it once a month. It's very stable, and you can tell right away that you're getting the right calibration by just checking where the peak heights are. Alright, so this tells me that the stone is a natural corundum, natural ruby. It tells me this stone has optical features with stones from Mozambique and has been most likely treated with heat, which is exactly what we know about this stone. And that's it. That's how we do an analysis. So thank you for coming out and seeing the video. Let me just bring this back over here. And we'll see. Am I in this video? Not sure. Anyways, let's say I'm in the video now. Thank you very much for coming, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks a lot. And if you have any questions, you can reach me at david@gemasign.com. Be well. Have a great day.